What's up, and welcome to the Pro Day Podcast. I am your host, Josh Jackson, and today we're going to be talking about the reason for sports performance training. Why do it? Let's jump into it. So with sports, there's layers. Today I'm going to be talking about two of those layers, the team layer and the personal layer. So the team layer is all centered around championships, your record, and your reputation as a team. This focuses on the group itself. The other is the personal layer, or you as an individual. So I've broken this down into three tiers. The three tiers are the tiers to personal skills and development. The first one is, what are your specific sport abilities? So if you're a basketball player, how well do you dribble? How well do you shoot? How well do you pass? Apply that to any sport. Soccer would be the same. Gymnastics would be balance, explosiveness, all of those things. The second is your athletic abilities. How fast, how strong, how explosive, and how agile are you? The third, how do you work with others? How do you communicate? How do you react to instruction? And how do you react to criticism? So where does performance training come into play on these three tiers? First is the sport-specific skills. Majority of this will be learned from direct practice on the skill. So you want to get better at shooting? Well, shoot. Obviously, form comes into play a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still the same. If you want to get better at shooting, shoot. If you want to get better at passing, pass. Pretty simple. These skills are developed in team practice and on an individual level. Side note here, the people who are the greatest of all time work on their skills outside of practice. Practice doesn't stop at practice. You go home and you practice more and you practice more and you practice more. So, with that, where does performance training come into tier 1? Well, the basis of these skills require coordination, both upper and lower body coordination. So if you lack coordination, you won't be as effective as possible at performing these skills. Through performance training, though, you can drastically increase your coordination and thus increase your abilities on each skill. So for the first tier, where does performance training come in? It helps to develop coordination, which allows you to be better at dribbling, shooting, passing, whatever it may be. Moving on to tier 2, for tier 2, it's much more direct. If the goal is to be stronger, faster, more explosive, you have to work directly on these things, and this is where performance training comes into play. Running is a workout, yes, but is running a mile the most effective way to increase your speed? Probably not. Is doing some squats going to increase your vertical by 4 inches? I mean, maybe, there's a chance, but with proper variation in weight, sets, style, form, all of those things, you can almost guarantee yourself that you're going to see some sort of increase. Here's where using sports performance training is essential. By using sports performance training, you're using experts in their craft to ensure that your efforts don't go unrewarded. The last thing you want to do is put in a lot of work and not see anything out of it. Here's an example to paint a perfectly clear picture. If you were having heart problems, you wouldn't go to your dentist for answers. Although they are technically a doctor, the cardiologist is going to be the one with the most insight and the highest level of expertise on the subject. Same is true with coaches and trainers. Although the goal is to make you the best baseball player, soccer player, basketball player, gymnast, lacrosse athlete that you can be, the expertise of the two tend to be different. The coach is supposed to be the best practitioner of individual and team abilities in their particular sport, whereas the trainer should be the best practitioner of the individual's overall athletic abilities. The coach is focused on that specific sport, the specific things we talked about earlier in terms of basketball, shooting, dribbling, passing. Whereas the trainer's whole goal is to make you the best athlete. So when it comes to a specific athlete, both the coach and the trainer are needed. The coach is needed to teach specific sport-based skills, and the trainer is needed to make sure that the athlete possesses the athletic abilities to perform at the highest level. When you achieve both of these, you have a complete athlete. And with hard work, that complete athlete could be the next great athlete. So if your dream is to become LeBron James, Lionel Messi, or insert favorite athlete here, it takes a mix. It takes hard work. And so if you can mix an amazing coach that facilitates the skills you need for that particular sport, and an amazing trainer who can get you to the athletic abilities you need to play at that highest level, you're virtually unstoppable. All right, moving to tier 3, which involves working with others as a team and working with coaches. Communication is what we're talking about. I'm sure you've heard before, communication is key, and I will be the next one to tell you that it is. So how does performance come into play with communication? Well, I spend a lot of my time training athletes. In training athletes, it's nothing but communication. I have a set of workouts that's going to help this athlete excel in some way or another. My job is to get the athlete to do these exercises so that they can excel, so that they can reach their future. Same as a coach. A coach is trying to get you to play in a way so that way you can excel and have a great future. So in communication, on the side of training, it gets pretty complex. If you come in and don't do the exercise, you don't gain anything. If you come in and you do the exercise wrong, you risk injury. You risk not gaining anything from the workout and a whole slew of other things. So it's my job to be sure that through my communication, I facilitate what I need to for you to do the exercises. Now, when you start looking at this, there are thousands and thousands of different exercises, different ways to do different exercises. There's hundreds of ways to perform bad form on a single exercise. And so the communication process that goes in line with that to be sure that the athlete is doing the exercise correctly and also just doing the exercise is a whole conversation, nonverbal, verbal, and all types of communication between me and that athlete. But it's my job to get them to do it. And it is their job to respond to that and do it if they want to be successful. So how does it come into play? Well, it's everything. It's learning how to communicate. It's learning how to apply different things to help them in different ways. It's learning why they're doing what they're doing and how they can do it differently to help get a different outcome. It's everything. If you can communicate, you can learn. And if you can learn, you can develop. So in summary, the reason for sports performance training, well, there's many. We talked about all of them today, whether it's increasing coordination, increasing your actual athletic abilities, or increasing your level of communication. All of those things go into play with being an all-around amazing athlete. So, do you need to do it? Well, that's up to you. Should you do it? Well, that's up to you. But when you start looking at your athletic career and thinking about your goals and aspirations, are you doing the things that you need to be doing to achieve those? Are you working day in and day out on coordination, on balance, on your athletic abilities, on your communication skills? That's what it takes to play or perform at the next level. So if you have aspirations, be sure you're following those aspirations, putting in the work necessary, and making changes in the ways that you need to be successful. All right, that is the end of the podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. If you have any questions that you want answered personally, please reach out and let us know. If you're interested in training or have questions about how to pick the right trainer, is your coach doing enough, and so on, DM us, message us, send us an email, whatever it may be. We would be so happy to answer those questions for you. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next time.